Hello and welcome to my first Pick-A-Card reading. If you're new to my channel, I'm Layla, the Lenormand reader, and I'm delighted that you stopped by. Please hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so that you get more of these Pick-A-Card readings. I'll be doing them moving forward, and also so that you get our weekly reading and your monthly horoscope reading. So welcome again, and for this Pick-A-Card reading, I'm really excited for us to look into your financial future. So I have 3 decks here. The decks are all identical, but on each one I've got a different stone. And I've got these stones here so that you can tune into which reading you want to focus on for this question. And you'll find in the description below the links to the timestamp so that you tune into the right reading for you. So that said, let's start with the reading on the left-hand side. All right, let's tune into your financial future with this deck here, which is the one that was under the purple stone. And for this deck, I am inspired to draw a 9-card portrait. So let's draw the 9-card portrait to see what your financial future holds. All right, these are some beautiful cards here. We've got the clover right in the middle of the portrait, and this by itself is such a wonderful blessing and is such a wonderful message. The clover is an all-around lucky card, and obviously it's very lucky when it comes to money, and on top of that, it's right in the center of the portrait. In addition to the clover, we have the lovely sun here, which is all about brightness and success. It's really the epitome of achievement. So let's read these lines here, and I want to start with the first diagonal because it's the one that also carries the lily. Now, the lily is about career usually, and when I see the fox in the line, I also highlight the idea of the job. So together they bring up the idea of work and career. So the very first message we're getting for you is that your financial success, because it is successful thanks to the clover, has a lot to do with your career and your work. So I'd say really focus on that for the next phase, because this is what's going to enable you to attract that prosperity. And in the second diagonal, it's also a wonderful diagonal thanks to the clover in the middle. We've got the garden, clover, and tower. And I would say that the tower also has to do with the job because it can refer to a corporate environment. But the tower is also about the long term. So another key message that's coming through here is the idea that you are going to be blessed for the long term. And these are such wonderful messages. Now, let's read some of these lines here. The top one is the lily, snake, and tower. Now, the snake can be a tricky card, but actually when it comes to money, I really like it because it tells us that you are focused on your goals, you have your own interests in mind, and you've got your eyes on the prize. And on top of that, the snake enables you to be diplomatic and to find your way around anything that is even a little bit tricky or even very tricky. You'll be able to manage very, very cleverly. So this is a wonderful message. Now, when I see it next to the tower, and if we take the tower to refer to the job or possibly people of influence on the job, like, people who are higher up because of the tower, then the advice of the snake is important, and it advises you to be really diplomatic and definitely stay away from anything that has to do with gossip, and just really focus on your goals. Be clever with others, and you don't have to tell them everything you have in your mind. So this is quite a clever combination for you here. And with the lily, like we said, this has to do with your career. Now, the second row here is a wonderful message. We've got the rider, clover, and sun. What's lovely is that the rider is a speedy card, so you can look forward to your luck manifesting in the near future if you follow the advice of the card. So this is an all-around wonderful combination any way you look at it. It's also possible that the Rider refers to a messenger or a message or some news that you receive. Obviously, this is wonderful news and it answers your wish. So really a wonderful second row here. Now, the third row is interesting. We've got the Garden, Scythe, and Fox. Now, the Scythe and Fox can be a tricky combination, and that's because each card is by itself potentially challenging. Now, the Fox is also a little bit like the Snake, so we're getting again this indication that you need to be clever. But with the Scythe and the Garden, I am suspecting that there are some things that you have to remove from your environment, from your life, in order to attract this prosperity. And the thing that's potentially tricky, and we're going to see this in the columns, is that the Fox or possibly the Snake can refer to someone who is tricky or who doesn't have your best interest at heart. It's possible that they envy you. It's possible that they're trying to get in your way, and they might be doing this subconsciously, but still it could be in your way. So if you want to attract this prosperity and you have so much wonderful energy to your advantage for this, then I would say that you need to be sharp with certain people and possibly set some boundaries. You also want to remove from your environment or from your life anything that is not healthy, anything that you feel could be envious of you or not wanting you to move forward. And I think this is really important. Now let's look at these columns. We've got the Lily, Rider, and Garden. This is another wonderful message, and you can see that it T-squares the middle row, which is all about wonderful news. And in here, we're seeing the idea of your work and career coming through, because the Garden can also refer to the job. So it's that idea of a team, you know, the context where people get together. And with the Lily, we have that indication that there is some good news coming your way. It's possible that someone comes with supportive news, someone helps you move forward. So another lovely message. Now the middle column, a powerful middle column here, we've got the Snake and the Scythe figuring. There's the clover in between them, but the Snake and the Scythe is very much like the Scythe and the Fox. And the clover here again confirms the idea, and we see that it T-squares the bottom line, the idea that you want to move away from what's in your way. And also the idea that you want to focus on your own goals. So it's very important that if you want to attract all of this wonderful prosperity that is available to you, you want to move away from people who do not have your best interest at heart. Now, the bottom line suggests that you remove them. But if you're not ready for that, then you can at least gradually start turning away and focus your attention on your own goals. It's also important that you put your own goals as your priority. This is really important. Now, in the last column, we have a wonderful message for you. We've got the Tower, Sun, and Fox. And this is an all-around success combination because of the Sun in the middle. So again, with the Tower, we have this idea of longevity. And with the Fox here, we have a very positive combination thanks to the Sun. Yes, I know the Fox can be challenging, like we said, but with the Sun, it's an all-around positive combination. And what we're seeing here is that you really have a lot of potential of prosperity for the long term, provided you keep your goal in mind, provided you focus on your goal and don't compromise on it. So all in all, this is such a wonderful reading, promising some wonderful prosperity for you. The key messages and the key advice is that you're going to have this prosperity for the long term, that it's connected with your work and your career, and also that in order to attract it into your life, you really want to move away from folks who do not have your best interest at heart, or environments that are either limiting you or disadvantaging you in some way or other. So a wonderful reading for you. Now, before I let you go, I just want to say if you're interested in Lenormand or want to learn about it, I have some links in the description, but everything from master guides to master courses, so you do want to explore that. I also offer private readings, and the link is also in the description below. Again, thank you for dropping by, and I look forward to our next reading together. All right, let's tune into the second deck here with the red stone. I'm going to shuffle the cards, and I am going to draw for you a medium-sized hourglass. right, these are some wonderful messages for prosperity. We've got the fish, which is the card of money. And in the center line here, we've got the ship and the sun, also very wonderful for money. Now, the one challenging card is the mouse, but I'm really interested to see it here next to the lily or on top of the lily, because it's probably going to suggest to us that your financial prosperity and what you pursue in order to achieve that prosperity is going to affect how you manage your career, what you do in your career. So let's get into these lines and put this medium-sized hourglass together. Now, let's first look at the middle line here. We've got the ship and the sun. Now, the ship is a card of travel, but when it comes to money and prosperity, it has to do with returns on investments. And it also has to do with selling and trading, import and export, and all of that activity that happens usually overseas, so between countries, but it doesn't have to be that far. It could just have to do with this movement and these transactions that are happening. So it's a very active card, and it's a very blessed card. So it has to do with your ship coming in, as they say, and all of the goodies that come with that. And on top of that, we have the sun next to it. So that's another wonderful message here, telling us that you are going to achieve some wonderful goals, some wonderful returns on your investments. You're going to make sales. You're going to get positive results on your efforts. So really a wonderful middle line that brings together this beautiful hourglass. Now, in the top line, we have the fish, the moon, and the mouse. The fish is the card of money, and when I see it next to the moon, it has to do with an offer. However, the mouse on the other side of the moon suggests that this might not be the best offer for you. So the first key message that is coming out here, on top of the fact that you have wonderful prosperity ahead for you, is that there could be an offer that comes your way, but that is not the best offer for your prosperity. So I want you to be really careful about what comes your way, and I really want you to focus on the details. So read the fine print, understand what it's all about before you make any move with it. And I think because of this mouse next to the moon, you're going to find that it's not in your best interest. Now, the bottom line is a wonderful line here, suggesting security. The anchor is all about security when it comes to money. And when I see the garden and the lily, I am looking at your work and your career, possibly your job. So when I see these three together, I think that you are on the right track to your prosperity. You are doing what you need to do in order to attract this prosperity to you. It's also possibly telling us that you do not want to make any radical changes right now on the job front or in other areas that create a foundation for you, because it looks like you are building the right things for you. It's really about navigating the opportunities that come your way and evaluating them to make sure that they align with what you're doing and where you're heading. So a really powerful message and a really constructive message, I would say, coming through these cards. Now, I want to read the short columns here. The first one is fish and anchor. Now, this is wonderful. It's a wonderful combination for money. It has to do with building your security. So you want to make sure that you are on a secure foundation, that you are on a solid foundation. This is what is really key in the next phase. And you are going to build it. You are going to attract the success to you. The thing is that the anchor can refer to discipline. It can mean that you need to stick with the right habits, that you need to stick with what you're doing so that this continues to build. Now, the moon and garden is another message suggesting an invitation. And I think this has to do with the proposal that we saw earlier. So this could come through a meeting, some kind of interview, some kind of conversation around which you discuss an opportunity. But again, like I said, the mouse can invite you to get into the details, and it can possibly warn you against anything that is not aligned with your goals. Still, because of this combination here, the moon and the garden, I would say you do want to be open to invitations, be open to opportunities, see what's out there. Welcome it, see what it is. You don't have to accept it, but see what it is. Keep an open mind. And then in the last mini column here, we've got the mouse and the lily. And when I see the mouse and lily, this can refer to stress or drain or getting tired. And I think this has to do with the anchor that we saw in this column and in this line. So you are really disciplined. You are really doing what it takes to establish a secure foundation for yourself. And that is wonderful. And that is definitely going to bring us the results that we want because of the wonderful ship and sun right in the middle here. But I would say because of the mouse and lily, don't get burned out. Take your breaks. Take a break when you need to. Take a break from the disciplines every so often. You need that in order to replenish your energy, and you have lots of energy. Now, another thing that's interesting when it comes to the lily in the context of money is that it has to do with retirement and pensions. And I think this aligns really well with the anchor, which is, foundations and disciplines and all of that. So another key message that's coming through here for you is that you are looking at the long-term security for yourself, the foundations for the long term, your pension, your retirement, what happens over the longer term. And with this focus in mind, then you are going to be able to tune into what you need to do now in order to establish this wonderful financial success for yourself. It's possible because of the mouse that you had sort of been maybe not wanting to look at that too much. Maybe it's been draining you to have to look at that. You're in the mood for it. But I would say do put in an effort to do that because it is really going to highlight your focus for the present time so that you establish yourself on this wonderful foundation, which is your financial success. Now, I want us to look at these mini portraits here, or what I call mini portraits. We've got the one that surrounds the ship, and these are wonderful messages here. We've got the fish, ship, and garden. So this has to do with selling. It's possible that you're in business with yourself. I would say explore that if that's something you'd been wanting to do. And with the anchor, ship, and moon, again, we are looking at wonderful prosperity, wonderful achievement that unfolds over some time because of the moon. And there's this sense of you're going in phases, so you're establishing your foundations in layers, which is a wonderful message. And the second mini portrait is another beautiful set of cards thanks to the sun in the middle. Even more beautiful is the moon, sun, and lily. And the moon and sun always have to do with love, almost always. Now, they can have to do with partnerships, but because of the lily, it has to do with the long term and it has to do with commitment. So this could be your partnership. And if that's the case, then you are working through this prosperity with your partner and you're looking at your future security and your security together. So this is very wonderful. Now, if this is not about a relationship in that sense, it can have to do with a partnership that you go into in order to secure your long-term investments, your long-term security, your pension, and all of that area. And then the garden, sun, and mouse is another wonderful message. Despite the mouse, the sun easily overcomes the mouse. So you're going to overcome any doubts you have in this regard. You're going to be open to opportunities. You're going to be able to assess which ones are good for you, which ones are not. And you are just really focused on your goals and you are sailing towards them. So really a beautiful hourglass for you here. Wonderful prosperity ahead for you. The keys are to focus on your long-term future, the disciplines, the foundations, doing them in layers, and keeping your focus on the long term. Before I let you go, I want to let you know that I have plenty of resources for you. If you want a private reading, you'll find the link in the description below. And if you want to learn about these beautiful cards, I've also got some helpful links for you. I've got the master guides and I also have the master courses. Very exciting. So thanks again for watching and I look forward to our next reading together. All right, let's do the third deck here. For this deck, I want to draw an augmented line of 5. So I'm going to shuffle this deck and let's draw 5 cards for the line. And then I'm going to add 2 more cards here. Okay, so right. This is a wonderful line that I'm seeing here. I'm seeing some really interesting messages just looking at it from a bird's eye view like this. And the card that really jumps out to me, in addition to the key in the center, is the flowers. And we'll get to it in just a second. But the key in the middle, I mean, what a wonderful card to see in the middle of this augmented line, or this cross, if you want to call it that. The key is all about resourcefulness. You have all the answers within you. You can pull out miracles in order to bring about this prosperity, and bring about it you will, because the key is an all-around success card. It's all about achievement, and it's a brilliant card. It's a card of intelligence, of insight, and resourcefulness. So the first message that we're seeing here is that you really have it within you to do this. You need to pull out these miracles. You need to rely on yourself. You need to be resourceful in order to attract that. And what's interesting is that we have a person card showing up. We have the gentleman here, and it seems to be someone who is really, really supportive. So let's read these lines and put this whole augmented line together. So we're going to start with the long line here made up of 5 cards. We've got the tree, the man, the key, the flowers, and the bird. Now, the tree is a card that has to do with things taking a bit more time. They unfold on their own time. So the first message that's coming through is that you'll need to be a bit patient for this to come about, for your prosperity to come about. But it's still a really positive card, by the way. And it has strong foundations. It's deeply rooted. It's a card of health and abundance. So you can look forward to good things coming through with the tree. Now, the man is a wonderful card to see between the tree and the key. And the tree and the key is a special combination as far as I'm concerned. It has to do with achieving a very important goal. And when we see the man in between them, then it seems that there is someone who will be able to support you. Someone who might bring you ideas, who might give you ideas to make your dreams come true, bring about this prosperity in your life. And it's a very positive combination. So another message that's coming through here is that if there is a certain gentleman in your life whom you feel you can trust, whom you feel can help you grow, who might give you some very good ideas with regards to this area, then I would say tap into them, see what they have to say, ask them questions. Let them give you their point of view. See what you make of it. You don't have to take everything they say, but they might give you some insights that ignite in you more insights and that enable you to unlock your potential to manifest your financial success. And I love to see the flowers on the other side of the key here, and on top of that, the bird. The flowers is a card of creativity. Very clearly, we're seeing that your prosperity has to do with being creative. And with the key, it has to do with brilliance. You have unusual ideas, completely unique ideas that you can bring into the world and that can help you attract this wonderful prosperity. And what's nice is that the bird, though it can sometimes be an anxious card, it has to do with being vocal, with expressing yourself. And when we see these 3 cards together, then the message is so clear. We are seeing the idea that you need to express your uniqueness. You need to put your creativity out there, and it's going to attract that abundance for you. And what's wonderful about creativity is that it's not just financial abundance, but it's abundance in every other way. It gives you that sense of fulfillment, that sense that you're doing the right thing for you, that you're fulfilling your calling. So these are some wonderful cards to see here. And what's also wonderful about the bird in this context is that it confirms what we read earlier about speaking with this gentleman. So this card here, the bird, is actually a card of being vocal. It has to do with expression, asking questions, seeking answers. And as we saw earlier, there could be someone whom you can go to for some insight, for some support or some ideas. So again, we're getting a confirmation that you need to open your mouth and ask questions and just go out there and see what you can do, see what you can get. All the while, express your creativity, put your ideas out there, do something with them, because they can really beget you that kind of success. Now, let's read this central column here. We've got the road, the key, and the moon. This is a beautiful combination. Of course, the key is an all-around beautiful card, so it lights up this line. But what I like to see about the road and moon here is that you are going to open up some potential here, and you're going to move forward in a direction. You're going to go down a path that's going to help you unlock more of your potential. So I'm also getting a sense that there is a discovery here that is at play. You know, creativity, discovery, insight. There is something unique that you can do, something special that you can do, that you can open up to, that will enable you to attract this prosperity. This is really unique as a reading, and I'm so excited for it. Now, I want to read the 2 diamonds of this augmented line. We've got the road, man, flowers, and moon. So this gentleman here is clearly someone who is inspiring. Probably he's creative himself, and he might invite you to go down a certain path, and this can lead to your prosperity. And the inner workings of this whole dynamic is that you want to open up to the influence of others or the ideas that others might bring to the table. Be open to them because they can help you move forward in these new directions or unlock your potential. And reading the outer diamond, we've got the road, the tree, the bird, and the moon. So again, we have this idea that the path can take a bit of time to unfold, but unfold it will. And so you want to make sure that you are building and taking the right steps in order to move forward. And with the bird here, we have again this idea of expression, expressing yourself, especially with the moon here. It has to do with creativity. Again, the moon is another card of creativity. So this message is really strong. So clearly the actions you need to be taking in the world is seeking answers, asking questions, finding out, expressing yourself, and also taking real steps. So you have this in you. The message is clear. You have this in you. You need to unlock it. You need to move forward in it, and it's going to attract some wonderful prosperity down your way. This is such a wonderful spread. So unique, so interesting. I would love to hear your feedback about how you feel this is unfolding for you. And again, this man here proves to be supportive. So be open to others, be open to what ideas they can come up with you. A beautiful spread for prosperity interlocked with your creativity and how unlocking it will enable you to attract this financial abundance. So before I let you go, I want to say thanks again for dropping by. I want to let you know that I have some helpful links in the description for you. If you want a private reading, I've got a link for that. I also teach these wonderful cards. You might want to check out the master guides and even the master courses. Very exciting. So thanks so much again for dropping by, and I look forward to our next reading together.